Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. All of us human beings are constantly challenged in this life, and nothing will be enough. We're all the time aspiring to a zone of consciousness that is infinite. Every intelligent human being wants better and better, increased benefits, increased goodness, reliability, consistency, constantly, endlessly. The reason for that is very simple. We have a soul or a spirit that is a spark of the cosmic divinity itself, a spark of Haqq or Allah or God. That is why we are alive. And that spark or that light is not subject to space and time, is boundless. And it is for a while journeying on this earth through the vehicle of the animal body or the sentiency or human beings. And therefore our drive is endless. We are a combination of humanity and divinity. If we want to be in balance, then we must address both. You cannot deny humanity. You cannot deny that you want to be awake. You cannot deny that you need rest and sleep. You cannot deny that you have a beginning as a birth and a death as an end. You cannot deny the fact that you want goodness to never end. So it's the reconciliation that is really the process that each one of us, no matter who, you're ignorant, you're a child, you're old, you're knowledgeable, you're ignorant, you're subjected to the same challenge. We desire constancy. We desire the absolute. We desire truth. We desire God. We desire the certainty that the entire universe is governed perfectly. We desire that certainty so as to overcome all the uncertainties in which we experience during our life. As Muslims, we are fortunate in having had the entire story of beginning and end, and that which has no beginning and no end, encompassing the beginning and the end, given to us through the wonderful vehicle of sound or transmission or revelation of Qur'an. There is something that you hear about something. There is a fire in the wood. There is something else that you see it and you feel it, and then now you have witnessed the fire. There is something else when you are burnt in the fire. When there's something else that you are alive and you know how fire burns and illumines and helps us to improve our life through cooking and so on. So the big event, the discovery of how to harness fire. It increased the speed of human evolution and the rise of, if you like, higher consciousness a few thousand years ago. We're most fortunate to have been given this incredible completion of the manual as to what existence is, what is eternity, what is temporary, what is good, what is bad, what to avoid, what to accept, and so on. And that's the foundation of Islam. Something to be informed, something to realize it and adhere to it, is something else to be awakened by it. At first there is a spark, then there is a light, and then it's complete unison and consumption by that light. It's all right for a child to simply hear some Qur'an, or recite, or memorize, and so on, until such time you find every ayah, every surah especially, contains the entire story from a special angle. Human views and understandings are endless. Beams of lights and emissions, whether near to our earth or from beyond the other end of the space, are endless. So we have to accept that your viewpoint is endless. You close your eyes, there is no viewpoint, but your mind ticks. So it gives you memories of the past, and on and on and on. The human being is the most complex instrument ever. And it is the most potentially fine that can pick the sounds of the cosmic silence. But if you are all the time in the cacophony of a lot of noise, you won't hear it. If you're occupied and trying to bring to balance your body with all the hundreds and thousands of different mechanisms of the organs and the faculties, you're occupied with the machine, with the instrument, which is fine. Then comes subtler, and then emotions, and then feelings, and memories, and on and on and on. That's what we want to transcend. All the time, every one of us is climbing. Climbing to what? To pure consciousness. This is the condition of our soul, our ruh. This is the condition of our reality. Although we are aware of limited consciousness, of a sound or a noise or a friend or a neighbor or anguish or a cry or a laughter, all of these are tiny little indicators. They're tiny little messages that we receive, and then we transmit possibly a response to it. But ultimately all of it emanates from As-Salam, perfect cosmic peace, silence. Every possible noise or sound emanates from that. So we're all the time in a struggle. Every human being at every moment in a struggle, trying to be in the dot of perfect balance. It's not up, it's not down, it's not past, it's not future. It is now. And the now contains the entire story of whenever time and space occurred. The ruh is beyond time and space. It is transiting through space and time and takes identities. A child needs to build his or her identity until they are in their 30s, 40s, 50s. If by then they cannot move to higher reality by transcending their identity to reality, then they'll start suffering. And then depression begins to set in. We all love to be cheerful. We all love to be welcoming the moment. We all love to be at one with the moment. But if half of you is suffering from past mistakes and stupidities and ignorance, and the other half is fearful of the future, so there is no moment, there is no time, there is no now. And this is the nature of reality. You must iqra, read it. Iqra, bismi rabbika. So you have to read the truth by permission of the cosmic light of eternal truth. If you read the now, then you know whether to interact, react, not to act, keep quiet or move away. You know what to do. The birds know it. So how come we don't? We all the time want to be given prescription. But look at all the creatures around you. The little gecko knows whether it's the right place or not. Its senses tell it that this is not conducive. You want to preserve your life. And the ultimate qibla, every one of us is obsessed with life. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. I did not create the unseen entities, our equivalent, because there are only dualities in this realm of consciousness. There is no possibility of a good unless it comes with the seed of the bad. No possibility of a high unless it has the seed of the low. So jinn and ins go together. And Allah declares, the truth declares to us, creation is only to be in adoration and worship. Obsessed by life. Every one of us. The gecko, the fly, and the raptor, and the human being, and the monkey, we are obsessed with life. And how we know life is my life, your life, his life. Obsessed with life. Everything any human being does, eat, sleep, talk, run, sit, whatever, expression of obsession with life. You want to preserve your life forever. But you know then through rationality and experience that it is terrible by the time you are 150 years old. You know, you have no teeth, you have no this, you have no friends. And the entire culture has changed. It becomes historical. So you start telling people when you were a kid, they all run away because it doesn't mean anything to them. You know, at the time you had parents, but give it another 50 years time, you find where is the family? So they don't want to listen to you. Because their time has changed, cultures have changed, languages have changed, etc., etc., etc. 100 years ago, people who identified with their tribe, with I am from there, I am from, not from that part of Holland, from that part, not this part of India. 10,000 Indias, 10,000, but look at it now. Now, we're all trying to connect. We're obsessed with life. And that obsession declares itself through obsession with connectedness. Connect to the past, connect to the present, connect to the future. Connect. I know people, so he's a good connector. He's a good PR man. And connect. Connect in time comes to continue. So it's continuation, that's procreation. Every creature wants to procreate what it knows. And that's why we have such explosions of creatures on this tiny little earth of ours. Continue, obsession with continuity. So it is an attempt to stop time. If it is continuous, as though it is timeless. So we have been here for thousands of years. Our tradition is 10,000 years. We have done the same thing. So it gives us the illusion of timelessness. We're all the same and different. It is about differentiating what is same, differentiated sameness. All human beings. Essentially, we are the same. We want the same. We want goodness, we want friendliness, we want love, we want well-beingness. We do not want a disrupted, mechanistic part of our life or our body. We want the organs to talk to each other. Thousands of different languages. The language of the kidney is not the same as that of the pancreas. You know? So here we spend 3 or 4 years learning a language that is foreign in order to do commerce and trade. By the time you started, that business that you had is defunct. Nobody wants it anymore. The widgets that you are investing your life in are no longer in demand. So what about the language that goes on? Millions of communication and stimulation. We are not aware of it. And we keep on saying that I am this and I am that. Where are you when you are in deep sleep? Muslims have a huge advantage. And like any advantage, it comes with also its responsibility. If you don't make use of it, if you are not illumined by it, you pay a heavier price. It's something for a child to be walking on a very thin, if you like, high roof or something. He doesn't know if he falls, he'll die. And often the angels do their bit and you're amazed how he's saved. But once you know, once you've been told, then you have to use your intellect, use your mind. Your mind is the link between your so-called you, the body, the history, the memory, and the real you, which is the light, which gives you life, is the link. So you need a clear mind. In order for you to transcend towards higher consciousness, you need a pure heart. So the light of your heart illumines you. Not the right time, not the right place. Rest now, or run. Fire is coming, or what. We are inheritors as human beings of thousands of amazing beings who had access to the highest level of consciousness over the last 15, 20,000 years. So if we don't live it, if we don't listen to it, if we don't dance to that tune of perfection, then we are all the time suffering and claiming and blaming and all the usual stuff that more or less everybody falls into that pit. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdu lillahi Rabbil Alameen. Whatever we praise emanates from Haqq, from truth, from Allah. We praise wealth, We praise knowledge. We praise power. We praise love. We praise all of the praiseworthy attributes. Hundreds of them. Patience, ability, hearing, to understand, and. These are all praiseworthy attributes. They all emanate from Allah, from God, from Haqq. They are beams that are emanating all the time. And some of them become fields of energies, like friendship. The field of energy of friendship is very different from that of enmity. The field of energy of goodness and pleasantness is very different from that which is unpleasant and ugly. The field of energy that mimics, transmits beauty, harmony, is very different from that of its opposite. So, we are by nature driven to choose higher qualities of attributes that we enjoy. These qualities are emitted from our own soul. My soul is friendly, otherwise it wouldn't be in this prison of the body for whatever number of years. The spirit or the soul is cosmic. It's not limited to any space or time. Whereas my soul, which has all of those cosmic qualities, God's qualities, is trapped for a while in this body. It gets relieved when I die, when it leaves the body. So I say, I have died, or I am dying. You're able to say it because there is in you something that never dies, ever living, Haqq. So that is praiseworthy. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen, numerous worlds. There are countless universes. What we see is within our own world. There is within it, until you get to the atom. You begin to see, oh, there is an electron, and there is a proton, and there is a neutron. And then you start looking into that, and you come to a point where it's pure energy. It's no longer definable. So here where energy and matter completely link, inseparable. That's what I said earlier, connecting. So we are, as human beings, learning numerous connections. The baby begins to connect with the mother. The young 3-4-year-old running around connects with parents or with neighbors or with friends. You connect. Eventually you begin to connect with who you think has power. We all love power. It's another good attribute. Allah is the all-powerful. And then that power manifests in hundreds of beams, one of which is knowledge, one of which is visible wealth. That's why you connect, you want power, you want to be powerful. Knowledge is another power. Knowledge is another also beam that connects with love, because it connects cause and effect, past, present, future. Knowledge, until you end up desiring access to the source of knowledge, not just knowledge itself. How many languages can you learn? There are hundreds of languages that are not so far from where you're living. And every 2-3 weeks, one language dies. And eventually, there is one language. And that is, you are here in order to know that your light, your ruh, your soul, does not belong to here, there, or anywhere. It's cosmic. So you move on and on and on. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Rahim is from, also depicts the word of ongoingness. Rahim, the womb. So we like Rahmaniyya. Rahman connects the whole cosmos. Connecting, nourishing, nurturing. It is through the Rahman that a mosquito bites me because it is worshipping its life, and its life depends on a cycle of it's also giving me a prick. This is from Rahman. But when I am ill, I have to sing the praise of Ar-Rahim, because that's then personal. Rahim is an aspect of Rahman. It reflects Ar-Rahmaniyya. So yes, a bug hit me, that's Ar-Rahman. I want to live, I'm calling upon Ar-Rahim. So I look around, where is the remedy or the antidote to bring back the balance between life and death, which is the so-called me. So Maliki Yawmiddin. You must go up again into culture. You have to realize that our Deen and ancient religions have all emerged from people who had a way of life, who had fears, who had anxieties, who had concerns, who were more nomadic or more hunter-gatherers or more sedentary. You have to make allowance for those cultures. Malik, mulk, kingship, rulership, head of a tribe. This is how they were ruled. This is how they had stability. So this was the norm, to have a king. It was a norm also to raid. It was a norm also to take slaves. But not in the last 200-300 years, so you must make allowance for that. Some of these words in the Qur'an, which had a lot of connotations. A slave is somebody whom you rescued from being a sheer killer to being under your guidance, so as he or she grows up into being an awakened human being. So it comes with a responsibility. It was not just abusive. But in the last few hundred years, enslavement became abusive. So it's no longer something that we can in any way condone. But 1,000 years ago, you would have been honored to be enslaved by a king, or by a ruler, or by a prophet. So things change. You must make allowance for change in cultures and in language and language use and so on. Maliki is king. Nowadays there are no kings anymore. If there are, they're tethered, hopefully, also by the so-called parliament, which so on and so on. Iyyaka na'budu. This truth, this reality, this God, this light, this cosmic complete governance is what I worship. And then by that I want to be guided, so as I'm on the right path. The right path is that which connects past, present and future. It transcends time. Otherwise, every minute it changes, the rules changes. It's very disturbing. I want to be in a state that is perpetual. I want to be connected with timelessness. I want to accept that time passes biologically, physiologically, chemically, hormonally, but I also want to be in constant reference and calibration with that which never ever changes. That's the condition of my own soul. My soul is affected in a way by the shadow of this lower self, but it remains also in its total and utter loyalty, connectedness to its creator, to God. Whereas the self or the lower self or the ego self is only a shadow of that. Don't denounce the shadow. The shadow has a message to give. It is there only because it reflects a light. If it is absolute darkness, it's not a shadow anymore. But once there's a bit of a shadowy thing, you want to discover its origin. And what does it mean? Is it a good shadow or is it a bad shadow? And on and on and on. So it arouses human curiosity and the love to discover. Every one of us is an explorer and a discoverer. First, discovering your neighborhood, your trees, your plants, your insects, and this, and history, and background, and future, and trades, and generations that have gone. Where are they? Who were the kings? What were the worries of those who created these amazing, whatever it is, ruins? Each one of us is an archaeologist. If not physically, it is for knowledge. If it is knowledge, it's about spirituality. We're all trying to dig, to know. It's not the past we are after. It is the inner core of the present we are after. But then we want to look at the past. Who am I? Who are my parents? Until you discover, oh, your great-grandfather was an absolute rascal. He died in a prison. So you stop, looking for your lineage. You stop at that. You say, because we want to belong to the King of Kings. We want to belong to a reality that is the perfect governance of the cosmos, not just the universe, because there are multiverses. So, Ihdina as-sirat, this is the path. I want to be in a situation, I don't deny my humanity. I am a friend, I am a teacher or a father or whatever, or a walker. But equally, when it is calibrated constantly with its origin, which is boundless, not within space and time, then my humanity is in order. Otherwise it becomes fascistic or dictatorial or whatever. It won't last. So as you rise, you're also falling. So once you know your humanity is only there to tether, to stabilize the light of divinity in you, then you are in balance. You are here but not of here. You are earthly but heavenly. You are passing through, but the truth never moves in time or space, which is in you. Now, humanity has led you to divinity, and you are at all times in adoration of divinity that has showed you humanity, which is the path, which is the sirat towards realizing that the truth is beyond all of this and is within all of this. So don't deny any of it. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. How can you deny the up or the down? You are completely, in every way, enslaved in the most honorable way, in the timeless way of enslavement. So be an honored and truly accepting this honor of enslavement. And then there is no back and forth. There is no regrets. There is no unfortunately. There is no if only they. What do you mean if? There is no they. They are accumulation of different yous. Duality is only a reflection of the compounded, if you like, appearance of unities. All of it is one. From the one, to the one, by the one. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ. There's only one. Say it by your tongue. Hear it. Witness it. Realize it. Know it. Be at one with it. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ. You start by that. You start with a good lie, until it becomes real. And then you have no option other than accepting your short passage on earth. Then you don't get depressed. أَلَا أَنَّ أَوْلِيَاءَ اللَّهِ لَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. No fear, no sorrow because of presence. Fears and sorrow touches everyone, no matter who. But there is a difference between a touch and a slight feel and a slight empathy than being overwhelmed by an emotional, if you like, mountain that has fallen on you. It's a huge difference between you being buried under 1,000,000 tons of debris than just understanding that a mother has empathy for a child that has now broken its leg. It's understandable. But it touches you, but it does not overwhelm you. The real you is your ruh. You are a human being because of your ruh. Otherwise, a dog is much better. He's more loyal, more honest, more courageous, and he will die for his owner or whatever. Here you don't. Say, he was a loyal friend. Let somebody come holding a gun on their head and asking them to denounce you and see. He's programmed inwardly in a software, hardware, everywhere to be only loyal to life as he or she perceives it. That's your loyalty. You're obsessed with life, not obsessed with your friend. But then the second level as humanity, no, he's a loyal friend. He always stood by me even when I was most stupid. But even when he was there with me, holding my hand, not allowing me to sink more. So on and on. The surahs we have are magnificent. Read them by your tongue. Read them with your heart. Read them with reason. Read them with your intellect. Read them with your heart. Let it now completely obsess you, take you over. Read the truth in them at all times which we yearn for. وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. At all times, as a human being, as an insan, one of the roots of that word is uns, familiar, or also it could be nasya, forgetfulness. If I don't forget all of the injuries I had in my teenage and so on, I will be crippled. I want to think well, I want to be reasonably healthy, I want to be optimistic, I want to have hope. But if I'm all the time remembering my failures and my miseries and my stupidities and my selfishness, I won't move. You all the time say, I am a sinner, I am a wrongdoer. It becomes a habit. It becomes your personality now. Run away from whoever is that. You have to get up, dust yourself, and forget. So it's important. At all times, insan, you, I, he, she, will lose. Lose our past. Lose what was important when you were 3 years old. 5-year-old, you wanted a good tricycle. But when you are in your 40, your mean uncle remembers that. So in your 40, he brings you a tricycle. But now I need a 4x4. I don't need a tricycle. So you always will lose. You will die. That's the ultimate loss. Who are you? When you die, if you have identified yourself with the so-called you, your mind, your biography, your photographs, your identities, well, of course you'll be depressed as you're getting older. But if you know it, that this process is another womb preparing you for true awakening to only haqq, you have no power anymore. You have no ability anymore. You cannot do anything with your own volition. You have none whatsoever of the so-called independence. We think we are independent. After you are born, the mother likes the baby to be more and more self-dependent. It's a big thing when the baby starts being able to clean itself or go to the bathroom and then demand things. And by the time he or she is 6, 7, 8 years, it has a personality. He said, no, my child wants this one. So we have already begun to dig the groove for this poor creature. So it has its own habits, what it likes, what it doesn't like, and. Hopefully, if this child is fortunate, by the time they are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, they have had enough challenges to realize that they are a mixture of an ego, lower self, a shadow, and a ruh, and a higher light. And then they begin to listen more and more to the higher light. Inna Allah balighun amrah. Allah will attain His purpose, His command, His desire, His wish. What is it? It's to be adored, to be worshipped exclusively. Don't worship wealth or your friends or your position or your... They won't last. One day you are on top, one day you are on the bottom, one day you are awake, one day you are asleep, one day you will die. So Inna Allah balighun amrah. So if the more you listen to what is the amr of Allah, is to be with none other than the one. So you recalibrate your desires. So by the time you are in your 40s, 50s, you won't do anything unless, if you're wise enough, it is accepted by haqq. It is correct for you and for whoever you have commitments to. If it is acceptable, if it is within the deen, if it is fine, it stands the test of time and place, then it's fine. You may be criticized, but if you have that awareness of haqq knows, and you have referred truly, you are in the hand of haqq, as this says also, as though you are between the fingers of Ar-Rahman, then it doesn't matter. Who had not been denounced? Which prophet or messenger or a great being or an enlightened person have not been denounced over and over and over? When the caravan begins to move, the dogs will bark. It's part of nature. But so accept that. Maintain your total, unconditional, absolute loyalty to He whose governance is absolute. And then you can deal with the relative. It's easier. Our short surahs covers it all. And then there are easily few hundred short ayahs. If you memorize them and remember them, they'll pop at you at the time you need them. You see, وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى فِرُّوا إِلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ and. So accept the fact that you want to be independent and you are completely and totally dependent. The mother's hope and prayers for the child to be a bit more independent is only as humanity. So you can clean yourself, you can wash yourself. If you're tired, you sleep. You understand more your mind. By the time you are mature in your 30s, 40s, you are in balance. You say, this is not appropriate, it's not the right time, not the right place. Accountability, responsibility, and you have no guilt. You have no fear. You have no anxiety because you are present. Guilt, fear, regrets, all of these occur for you and I have done something or thought something or desired something without being present, without recalibrating it with haqq. So you put your foot in somewhere and it takes you 15 years to come back. That's it. Sometimes it's irreversible. The inner amazing faculties and organs and all of the amazing mechanism have moved to another zone, no longer sensible. You've lost your 5 outer senses. Your inner senses are jumbled. You can't respond anymore. So these are the dangers that also parents are all the time afraid of. A situation may arise that you cannot come back. There is no safety line anymore. You don't hear anymore. Many parents have experienced a situation with a child or something that they have fallen into a trap of a drug or something or another that they can't come back, they can't communicate, they can't connect. We love to connect because of the original connection. Our physical connection, human connection, is only a touch of the unseen cosmic connection. So the whole spectrum is there. We begin and move to develop our mind, our reason, our causality, our sensibility, our rationality, and basic science, basic chemistry, biology, physiology, anatomy, until you come to a zone that is so vast in the unseen that you can enter it by truly abandoning. It doesn't mean you denounce rationality or sense or reasoning, no. You just transcend it for a while. Because that is the zone that we are all leading to. Death, which transcends anything to do with senses, anything to do with our illusion that we are independent and we are separate from the one and only. The beginning of it also occurs with a baby visualizing itself separate from the mother. Space. With space comes time. So the entrapment within space and time is the womb, is the second womb. And we all want to get out of it, we all will get out of it, and eventually it will happen with physical death and the end of the illusion of being independent, and you can go here, you can go there. After death, there is neither here nor there. The ruh rejoins the zone of arwah and the subtleties of those higher energies. And there are numerous zones between the physicality of this world and the ultimate highest of Nur al-Anwar. And in between there are the other worlds of the jinn and the malaika and the angels and. So, if you love the Qur'an, if you believe in the message of the enlightened and awakened being, and especially that of Muhammad, then you owe it to yourself to use that as your real nourishment. You need physical nourishment. You need psychological, you need emotional nourishment. You need social nourishment. You need communal nourishment. You need worshipping physical nourishment. Go up and down and cry and weep and also be optimistic and smile. These are all nourishments we can share and understand. But ultimately, the most important recharge is stopping anything that moves, including the neurons, the billions and millions of neurons within your guts and your head that moves and connects and disconnects. So you need to clean the past. Clear. Takhliya. Empty out. And then purify. Tasfiya. By abandonment. Saying, there's nothing in my hand. Allahu Akbar. First you want kabir. You want more. You want more wealth, more power, more influence, more impact, more. Eventually, when it is fully calibrated, Allah is greater, not greatest. Akbar. Then you know what humbleness is. Whatever you thought was important is insignificant. So you are recalibrated. Humanity, divinity. This world, heavens. You are in this world, not of this world. Don't deny this world and its touches, because this is our nursery. We're being groomed here to learn at numerous levels. There are people who are more powerful than others, physically, mentally, intellectually, scientifically, and knowledge of religion, and. But ultimately, all of it emanates from the same source that's beyond mental comprehension. So you have to abandon it, enter into that zone, enter into that Kaaba. Allahu Akbar. And then you take permission. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Don't deny Rahim. We all want Rahim. But don't forget that Rahim is an aspect of a Rahman. The germs that had afflicted me with fever are part under the umbrella of Ar-Rahman. But for me, I want Ar-Rahim because I am custodian of this life for a while. Until I realize, no, time has come, I have to accept the journey that it has come here, activated it for a while, the body has to go back to be recycled to where it belongs, and the mind to the intermediate, also energy fields, and the ruh to the alim al-arwah. Then you are truly a worthy human being. Then you are semi-reliable, because you have the real reference. Otherwise, at best, you want to be a fascist. You want to change everything instantly. This is an interesting childish drive. It's a childish himmah. Change now, immediately. This is fine. This is enthusiasm. But you can really realize it's taken millions of years. Humanity, where were they 500,000 years ago? 4 or 5 million years ago, it was hominids. You know, so where were we? It's very recent. So to be revolutionary in your heart is good, but evolutionary in the outer. Be harsh or hard or difficult or instant about yourself, but not about others. You can't do that. Give them the map, give them the scheme that you are here to discover you are neither here nor there, then the real you is the same ruh, and I have the same ruh, and has the worst human being has the same ruh, and the best human being has the same ruh, but is covered with a lot of darkness and ugliness and discord and ignorance. So then you are reasonably equipped and you remain vulnerable. So long as you are breathing, you are vulnerable. Don't ever think now you are safe. There is فكر ثم قدر فقتل كيف. Don't calculate. Don't imagine. Rationality is good for basic humanity. Otherwise, it is the light of divinity. So watch out, watch out, watch out. No one is ever spared until the ruh leaves this body. And this is Allah's rahmah, Allah's program. Some of it we are aware of. Allah's program is that if you do this will happen. Cause and effect. Up and down. Intention, action, reaction. And. So you're aware and you take counsel. And then you're cautious. And then occasionally you take adventure. For the sake of haqq, you may do anything. What does it matter? So no, I had no option other than doing. What happened to Imam Hussein? Other than that, he had no option. He couldn't go back into the rubbish that he had to leave behind. He says, if the deen of Muhammad will not be straight by my death, O swords, take me. Cheerfully. So we are all Hussainis, we are all Hassanis, we are all Muhammadis, we are all. If you really are on the path of Qur'an, if you are on the path of Islam, Iman, Ihsan, you and I will have success. With it comes failure. And that's what it is, we are on a swing. But wala ghalib, if you are on the side of Allah, you listen to His ways, you find there is only victory. That's it. And then you inwardly are all the time smiling. Outwardly, sometimes you may reflect a bit of, just say, no, this is very unjust. You're crippling the poor and the needy. We're all needy. And you start with the need and the outer. Hunger, disease, shelter, clothes. We start with that. But it doesn't end. You need to soon move out from fulfilling basic needs to the primary need, to know that you truly have one need only, to know that which you want to know is within your own heart. is the light of Allah. Al-Alim, Al-Alim, Al-Allam. It's already there. And you trust that it will give you what you need to do at the time that you really need to know. What an amazing contentment. Doesn't mean you are content with everything else that goes around you. You have to interact, groom the tree, help the fellow, help the blind crossing the road, whatever you can, whatever touches you. You can say it, you can sing it, you can keep quiet. Be accountable, and you know what is the right mode in your conduct. The entire Deen is based on correct conduct. Islam is conduct. So you have no regrets, you have no going back and forth in time, you have no guilt, you have no fear. You have done what you could do. If you are put back into that position, you repeat the same thing. This is how it is. Conduct with accountability. Be accountable to your friends, whoever it is, your teacher, whoever you trust. Be accountable to the light within your own heart. That accountability brings about to you temporary freedom, temporary liberation. The ultimate liberation is really when the body goes where it belongs and the ruh goes where it belongs. That is liberation. In between, you are hoping to be liberated from hunger, from disease, from need for shelter. These are temporary. But, if you are hungry and if you are in pain, you can't be able to switch off your consciousness of the outer. The outer is taking over. It's demanding its attention. You have a pain in your neck, in your guts, you can't do it. Once that is being put in place, then the next desire, higher, then sounds and beautiful and sounds and harmony and music and the sound of truth. So you move on along the infinite scale of climbing consciousness. وَإِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ الْمُنْتَهَى, until you are with total, cosmic, perfect consciousness. And that is the condition of your own ruh, my ruh, his ruh, her ruh. Our Deen is for that. Your salat, your ibadah, all of the other rituals are doorways into this amazing courtyard of truth. In truth, there is only truth. And everything else is a lie, but has different intensities of the spark of the truth. The Qur'an has a higher intensity of the sparks of the truth, but it also talks about all the darkness. Nearly 60% of the Qur'an is about darkness, is about watch out, is about Sharia, is correct, not yet, good, be just, be generous. Allah is the most generous. Your ruh is the ultimate generous. From Allah, by Allah, is reflecting that. So, if you reflect that, then you are mimicking your higher. That's a good mimic. Otherwise, you are, just pretending and you are a clown. Most people are living like that, clownish life. Or all the time, criticism and being cynical and on and on and on. It's endless. Save yourself from your lower self, and you find the real self is your own soul. And that's who you are. And now you can be of some help to others in a consistent way. And you'll find these hundreds of wonderful short ayahs and dozens of beautiful, sublime short surahs are there as different rafts that take you from one shore to another. But you have to do it. And you have to be with people who are trying to do it. You can't do it in isolation. That's why وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ plural آمَنُوا. So you have to be with people who are entering Iman. So don't say he's a mu'min or he's not a mu'min. There are so many different levels of Iman. As the Prophet ﷺ says, number 83 is to remove the stone from the road in case somebody else doesn't fall on it. This is Iman. But level after level after level. And ihsan is that you know Allah's rahmah is upon you all the time, even when you are in error. When you know Allah's rahmah is upon you when you are in error, it won't last long. Quickly you come back. And the Qur'an says, هَلْ جَزَاءُ الْإِحْسَانِ إِلَّا الْإِحْسَانِ. Isn't the response to being in ihsan, other than also being muhsin to others. Give them the best according to their need at that time, in a manner that they can assimilate, understand it. So this is the Deen. This is the path. This is the way. It is light upon light. You have to do it to yourself. Charity begins at home. You owe it to yourself, number one. But number one cannot exist without number two. That's why we are always deficient. That's why you are looking for a partner, a friend, somebody you can share with, care with, etc., etc., etc. So it is to do with groups of people, but it's not fixed. People come and leave. So you can't have this is 100% either you're in or you're dead. No such thing. There are all kinds of in-between levels, grays area. There is pure light, there is pure darkness. And in between, zillions of different levels of shades. We are like that. So celebrate the fact that you have trust and you have faith and you know that there has been progress in you. Look at yourself now as it was 10, 15 years ago. You know? So really, it's not the same. If you are ever reflective, يتفكرون, the Quran says it is for people who are reflective. You change all the time by grace of the one and only giver. It's all by grace with effort. So you must make effort on the human level, but when it comes to the divine side, you must abandon everything. As a humanity, you're struggling. Do your utmost. Be accountable. Apologize. Cry. Weep. Whatever. Do humanity. Up and down. Touches upon divinity by means of which it's alive. None of these values work. You have to take your biography, your identity, put it aside, and knock at the door of reality. Your ever-changing identity comes from reality. Reality is the author, is Allah. And the author gives these different roles to different beings, dishes them out. One day you are in demand, one day nobody wants you. One day you are fending for yourself, earning your own keep, one day you're not. So trust in Allah has brought you, Allah will give you. But don't move from this to the other. When you are earning your keep, don't have the desire that you hope that it comes to you without you knowing. This is denial of the rahmah of Allah, that there is duality emanating from unity, and all of it is, in every way, is part of the rahmah of Allah. Don't accept what's in front of you. If you can't do anything, don't do anything. If you are able to do something that's helpful, evolution towards back to its creator, do it. Be accountable to the one, and you'll be free from reprimand, fears, demands, and blackmail of others. But don't deny others. They have their demand. Don't put them off. You know. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ وَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. This is what we are trying to do now. Discuss the glory of the gift of haqq. You have to be with people of haqq if you can. You have to avoid people who are on the darkness. Do your best at all times. Be ready at any minute to leave this world. You know, your investment, they come and cheat you and say, they frighten you because of insurance. So you must insure. This is concrete investment. But you as a being, you're hanging on air. Nothing is flimsier than that. So be aware that the air goes in, may not come out. But do your best for the others. They're not necessarily the same state, let alone station that you are. كُلٌّ يَعْمَلُ عَلَى شَاكِلَتِهِ. The Quran reminds you, everyone acts according to who they are. So read it, اقرأ. They are in frenzy. They want supper. They want knowledge. They want a career. They want a wife. They want something. Or they want to get out of the marriage. Or whatever. It's not that different either. What you want one day, you do not want the next day. So have compassion, or don't deal with it. You know, understand it, read it. Don't impose your state or your station upon others. If you are with pedestrians, you have to be a pedestrian. Don't come in riding as a horse. That's what happened with so-called religious figures. They think that their knowledge of the path or of the Deen puts them in a higher state. Allah will lower them. This should be humbleness. Should be Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the most humble of all beings, with kids, with women, with others. When he was writing a letter to the miserable enemies of his, he said, Bismillah. He said, we don't accept it. He said, all right, take it away. He said, Min Muhammad Rasulullah, we don't accept you as Rasul. He said, take it out. He wanted to show them that, look here, we are all here subject to this growing towards haqq, which will be realized upon death. If not, if you're fortunate enough, you realize it before. If you wake up before, you're very fortunate. And waking up is not black and white. You're now more awake than you were 10 years ago. You're more awake than when you were in your womb. You'll be more awake when you go to the tomb. So that's it. So accept the process and be honest and be real. And also you must have a sense of humor. And the first person you should laugh at is yourself. That is the ultimate humor. You were silly, you didn't know, you thought this was important at that time, fine. But not anymore. You change. Why you change? Because there is in you something that's drawing you to it, which never changes. So it's all a puzzle, how the two emanate from the one, returns to the one. That is our Deen. And the Qur'an is the most magnificent testimony and manual for touching ultimately light upon light. Until such time you know, in truth there is only that light upon light. And then you can only do the little you can. لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Then you are in empathy or in sympathy, and if they don't like it, apologize and leave. And if they like it, say, هذا من فضل ربي. It's not from me. قل إنما أنا, I am the same as you, but I have, because of my having watched my darkness, I now have access to higher inspiration. Because I don't hear any more sounds. I hear the ultimate voice that emanates from perfect silence. That's all what it is. We all owe it to ourselves to do it. Good luck to you. Good luck, good luck, good luck. Salam, salam, salam. Salam, salam, salam. Salam.